Okay, so now we're going to go on to the song deep dives. Get a little bit into the nitty gritty. First track I want to talk about is Baby No Money's Edamame. Really incredible, enticing track. I don't even want to know how many syncs you get with that song because it must kill it. But what was the story behind that and how it eventually went viral and everything?
You know, that's a good question. I don't even really know how it went viral. Like at the end of the day, I think it was just a good song that like resonated with people, and it had that like catchy horn intro. And it was kind of like, I think it was a combination of a few things, you know, because it did very well in the sync world. So it kind of like that has extended the lifespan of that track so much. And still just streams really well to this day. I don't know if there's any like one thing that really made it go viral. Like it was kind of in the like earlier days of TikTok where like it was very easy to push a record.
Did it come out and then it went viral like a while later, or was it pretty
No,
instant?
it started ripping like right off the bat. Sure, I think it did 1 million streams the first day.
Damn, crazy.
And that was one of those songs too where like, you know how everyone always says like, oh, like you never know which song's gonna go. It's always the one that you never think is gonna happen.
Yeah.
That one I was like, I would have staked my life on.
Yeah.
Because I was like 3 months before it came out. It was like summer, and like I was like playing it with my friends on the boat, and every single time I would play it, people would be like, yo, what song is it? That's like maybe testing. The only one I've ever had like knew would go.
Yeah.
But that's I don't know. I think it was just like at the end of the day, it was just like a song that it was like fun, and it was like a time where people were making like a lot of like very like serious music. Like today's top hits was like pretty fucking emo.
Because it was like we were all in our houses all day.
Yeah, exactly. Pandemic. Yeah, and it was just like fun, and like Rich Brian was on it too. So and he has a ton of fans in Indonesia, so it did like very well in Indonesia and like Asia overall. Crazy. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like a big part of it too was just Baby No Money just constantly posting on fucking TikTok. And like Instagram, and
it's there,
just pushing the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, that's production when I first heard. It's like you hear, like, yep, the track is fucking great. Like, it's definitely very track focused, and not to put that on the top line because the top line is also amazing. But those horns are, you know, kind of what I was saying earlier, where it's like you're really great at picking out like a signature thing. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, all that's in that song are obviously the vocals, the horns, this bass line, and like a really simple drum pattern.
Yeah, it's super simple. Like if you boil it down, like. There's layers of stuff, but if you boil it down to like the actual condensed thing, it's probably like 10 elements, you know?
What's the story behind those horns?
It's funny, actually. We had like pretty much the whole song done, and we're like, I don't know, it kind of needs something else. And so I was just like going through like samples and shit.
Yeah.
And like there was like a horn stab that I found, and we just like put it in, and we're like, that shit is kind of fire.
Yeah.
And like it obviously just made the whole song.
I would have thought you started with those horns.
No,
that's crazy.
Yeah. We actually just started like we were in the Ultra Studios in Hollywood when we made that song. And we were just like not that inspired. So we walked to fucking Baby No Money, and he's from Canada. He'd never been to Hollywood Boulevard. And so we're like, let's walk to the Baja Fresh on Hollywood Boulevard. And like you'd be surprised. It fucking ripped. It was so good. And we came back to the studio like hyped. And I was like, all right, we're going to make, I was super into like tech house at the time. Yeah. So I was like, we're going to make like a kind of like tech housey track. And it's like, it's slower, obviously. It's like 108 BPM or something. But I was like, we're going to make some high energy shit right now. And we were just like hyped off of eating like Baja Fresh.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's fucking amazing, dude. So if you remember going a little bit deeper into the session there, I feel like the drums are, you know, they're hitting a very certain way. They're louder than you think. It's that hi-hat that's like kind of coming in and out. What's like on there, like the key, I guess, to getting it to balance? And like, are you doing any bigger drum bus processing?
You know, it's really like if you listen to the drums solo, they're pretty simple. I don't think I had really any processing on the drum bus, but what's really making the groove happen is the bass line.
Yep.
And the bass line it's 3 different bass patches, so it all kind of sounds like one.
Good. This was my next question.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's I think they're all one shots too. One of them might be a serum patch, but it sounds like one bass line, but it's all different basses like hitting at different times. And I think that's what kind of makes the drums groove. And I think it's a lot of stuff like that where like you always think to like hit drums harder, it's like you need to slam them through a compressor and do all this stuff. It's really like, for me, most of the time, it's more in the arrangement than the actual processing of like what makes stuff hit. And like, I find when I'm like having to put drums through like a like big ass chain, I'm like, I need to like revisit the arrangement here because maybe that's what's not hitting about this, you know? And it's like, it's the whole less is more thing, you know? It's like as you learn more about producing, it's like you don't need a drum bus, and it's like, especially like a lot of drum bus stuff is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it it's really just louder. It's like the loudness fallacy.
Right, you're making it louder. You know, I find drum bussing a lot more essential when I'm like recording like real drums.
Absolutely, yeah.
When it's like, okay, I gotta really glue this all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like kind of like what I'm doing now, like my drum bus, kind of like everything. It's like it starts being less and less, where it's like kind of the only thing that I have in my drum bus is I have that Shadow Hills mastering compressor.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a Jason Joshua kind of like preset that I stole from him. But it's just like hitting those harmonics, and it's just like making the transients do a different thing, which I find interesting. Whereas like 4 or 5 years ago, you looked at my drum bus and it was stacked.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like pretty much only that. I love to put tube. You know Good Hurts Tube?
No. I know like, Good Hurts, but I think I have it, but I've never, I don't know what it does.
Tube is my favorite plugin in the world.
What is it?
So it's a tape, tube, and opto compressor all in one.
Huh.
And it's just like I don't know, it does a thing.
Interesting.
They have like, 15, 20 different tape models on there, and you can really like shape it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And, like, saturate. You can go really heavy-handed on it on my drum bus.
They have that Wolf compressor, which kind of does the same thing too.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I think Tube is like their best plugin they've ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
It's I need to check that out.
They
have a lot of cool plugins.
Yeah.
I always like kind of like write them off, because I always like forget about them because they're just little utility plugins, some of them, but like they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah, dude, I swear by Tube. It's like my like go-to for like if I want to fuck up a sound, or even if I just want to like make it have like a little bit more of something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like because I like to like I believe in like gluing things with a drum bus. I'm like, cool, if they're all going through the same tape.
Totally.
A
lot of times it's necessary. I've been using this Ableton Max for Live utility a lot called Volume Buddy.
Okay,
and
I don't know that one.
Normalizes to your pre-fader volume. So like if you add like a drum bus plugin on, it'll normalize it to like it'll essentially like put it to the same volume as
so you really hear what you're doing.
Exactly. So it's like it doesn't allow you to like take loudness into the equation.
Yeah.
And like the more I've been using that, the more I'm like, I don't know if the shit really needs this.
Yeah, that's smart, dude. I wish I would love something like that on
There's so many cool like Ableton Max for Live stuff like that.
I just wish more plugins had like an auto gain feature.
Yeah.
Like I don't always want to like have that be on the final thing, but just to really make sure, especially with like limiters, where it's like, okay, I'm actually like doing something here, or is it just
to be
like
fair?
visual,
I think if more plugins added that, it would kind of shoot themselves in the foot.
Probably.
A lot of the times you have that auto gain feature, you're like, this plugin isn't necessary.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it happens.
I see why they don't add it.
Nope, I get it. It happens all too often.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's just an incredible track. I just want to talk about Baby No Money a little bit more. Like, had you guys been working together a lot at that point? Was that more early on?
It was definitely earlier on. I mean, we've done so much stuff together now. Yeah. That was the first song we did was Help Herself, which is a song that me and him put out together like as a collab. Right. The way we met was just over DM. I was just a fan of his, and I actually reached out to him for a feature on that beat that we did Help Herself on.
Yeah.
And we ended up just putting it out together, but he ended up just coming to LA a lot, and we ended up working a lot. And it was just one of those things where like that obviously like changed the course of my career in a very material way. And like, he's probably my most frequent collaborator now.
Yeah.
And had I like not sent that DM, that was one of probably 100 other DMs that I sent to people, like that would have never happened.
Dude, I tell people all the time, shoot your shot. You never know.
Absolutely.
You never know what's going to happen.
Dude, every artist that I've worked with, every cut that I've gotten has been a result of me just saying what up to people and like fucking, like that whole song Edamame is like a result of like it's me, Baby No Money, and Rich Brian. Rich Brian's another story where like